2027 general elections draw near, the political landscape in Kano State has entered one of its most unpredictable phases in recent times. This follows a series of high-profile defections and strategic realignments, reshaping political structures. Also, one of the major players in Kano politics, former Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso, has urged the people of Kano to view his potential vice presidential ticket under the Nigeria Democratic Congress as a one-way ticket for the state to secure the presidency in the near future. Well, joining us on the show this morning to discuss the battle for the soul of Kano State as the Obi Kwankwaso likely ticket threatens Kano political hegemony is Sanusi Bature, spokesperson to the Kano State Governor. Good morning, sir, and welcome to the program today.
Good morning.
Well, Sanusi Bature, we just spoke with Senator Sumaila Kawu, so this looks like a Kano State day on
yes, indeed.
Rice News. But, you know, he was asked the question, what has he achieved in the past 3 years? And he was talking about irrigation programs, about building of hospitals, 6 hospitals in about 171 wards, the largest senatorial district that he says, we have in Nigeria. And as he read out, those programs, including education, scholarships for, over 1,000 students and all of that, I was wondering, so what is the Kano State government doing? Because, if the senator, one senator is doing so much, where is the government in Kano State?
Well, Senator Kawu Sumaila is a good friend to the governor, and they were in the same party, NNPP, from 2023 before the earlier defection of Kawu and later defection of the governor. So they have been working in synergy with one another in terms of the development across the state. But to add to what he has said, I have mentioned earlier in this platform previously that the agenda of His Excellency Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf of Kano State is number 1, priority education, 2nd, education, 3rd, education. So in this education, for the very first time last year, Kano became the best state in terms of the National Examination Council result, topping the giant state like Lagos, which is as a result of the massive investment in the education sector, because the governor has declared state of emergency on education and has given a top priority to the education sector, allocating about 30% of the annual budget in 2024 and also 2025, and also in this 2026 annual budget. And then if you're talking about hospitals, the governor had renovated over 160 primary healthcare centers, and also currently renovating major tertiary and secondary health facilities such as Murtala Mohammed Library, and he was given approval recently to renovate Dawakin Topa General Hospitals, Sanusi General Hospital. A lot of secondary and tertiary health facilities are under renovation in Kano. So some have been renovated long ago, like the Maria Hasia Bayero Pediatric Hospital. And then if you're talking about other aspects of infrastructure development, when you go to Kano, Kano is a different city now. It's actually undergoing a massive urban renewal project, renovating over 100 urban roads with interlock by the site, and then plantation across the state to beautify the city so that it can meet the needed requirement as a mega city in northern Nigeria. And then sponsorship of scholarship, the 1001 pouring scholarship has been almost completed, with a lot of students coming back who graduated with a master's degrees in India, Malaysia.
Is that the governor's project?
Yes.
Is the governor's project?
Yes.
Not the senator's project?
No. Whatever I'm mentioning is the governor's project.
The senator was taking credit
No.
achievements of the government.
What I have said earlier, if you listen to my introduction, there is a synergy between the governor and the senators.
Okay.
Very diplomatic.
Exactly. So senator is doing his own, but whatever the senator does, he is in synergy with the governor. So he briefed the governor. So if governor is in
no problem.
primary healthcare A, then the senator will go to B or C. You understand? So whatever I mentioned is the work of the governor, not the senator. But the senator is doing his own in synergy with that of the,
okay.
of the
Some
governor.
form of division
is the work of the governor.
Is the work of the governor.
I'm going to hold on to this point around scholarships, because we know that this is a huge flagship of the Kwankwaso movement. It is one of the iconic, if I may call it, strategies that has been deployed by the Kwankwaso movement that it's celebrated for today. So it's interesting to see that the philosophy and the ideology of the Kwankwaso makes up some of the successes of Governor Abba Yusuf.
Yes.
So I ask this question, given that the media space is dominated by the narrative that Kano State is okay, or KO, who is Governor Abba Yusuf without the Kwankwaso movement that made him?
Well, first of all, you need to look at the political structure. Initially, in January, we defected out of NNPP, not Kwankwaso, as we mentioned it earlier. And then the ideology of Kwankwaso have been what we adopted as a system of governance in Kano State. Because Kwankwaso was a pillar, was one of the major stakeholders that actually worked for the present administration. But you know, in politics, you need to understand the context and content before the content. Why I say this is that we are fully aware, and everybody knows, that NNPP is no longer a formidable platform for 2027 election. So therefore, there was an agreement between the critical stakeholders, including Senator Kwankwaso himself, that we should find a lasting solution against 2027 because NNPP cannot fly. So with that, with the consent of Kwankwaso, with the consent of the former Deputy Governor, Comrade Amir Absalam, they decided, with the governor also, to approach Tinubu as the first option, as option A, so that the possibility of joining APC can come to play. So when the governor approached President Tinubu, they started to discuss all these issues and what have you. Then Kwankwaso was beginning to run away from that discussion. And then at a later time, he made himself clear that he needs to speak to the president directly, one-on-one, because president is his friend. So the governor went to the president and tell him that my boss want to speak to you directly on the issue of defection to APC. So President Tinubu agreed to that. He picks an appointment for Senator Kwankwaso, and then the day that he's supposed to be in the Bila, he traveled to China. He mentioned to the Bila guys that, okay, when he comes back from China, he will inform them. Up till now, he didn't inform the Bila that he is back from China. So he maneuvered his way to actually recuse himself from the discussion of going to APC for a reason best known to him. So therefore, looking at the time, because March, April is supposed to be the time that any defection should happen according to the Electoral Act. So therefore, the governor cannot hesitate to move on, because he's leading a state of over 22 million people, and he needs to have a political platform that he can run for the second term to continue with the giant stride that he has been doing in the state. For us, when you say Obi in Kano, it's actually a strange news. And many people are even surprised that the same Kwankwaso who said he has PhD, Obi has just an undergraduate degree. The same Kwankwaso who said he is more experienced politically and otherwise than Obi. The same Kwankwaso who has seen Obi as just a Biafra agent is now craving for him to be the vice president to Obi. So it's a surprise, and then Kano cannot accept this partnership, because it's not really the Kwankwaso we know, because we know the Kwankwaso is straightforward person and is a kind of person that actually want to really contribute to the development of the country. But this partnership, I believe, is just temporary, and I don't even think Kwankwaso Obi ticket can work. Why? Because I know the two of them has a very different opinion, has a very different political view. So I don't see people with a different political view can actually connect under one ticket to provide what is needed for the country.
Okay. So you said you don't think the ticket can work because Kwankwaso had called them names in the past and all of that. So you said you think something is wrong with Kwankwaso. What do you think is wrong with Kwankwaso? That's number one. Number two will be the question of, can we differentiate the roles of the senator and the governor? Because let's know who did with, legislative and executive. Let's know who did which one did the senator or the governor do. But what is wrong with Kwankwaso? But to also add to my question, nothing was wrong with Kwankwaso when he ensured that the governor was elected then. It is now that he's no longer with the governor, something is wrong with him. Can you tell us what is wrong with Kwankwaso now?
Okay, let me just give you some few examples so that you can understand that Kwankwaso is getting confused. Probably his age, I'm not very sure. Somebody who does not believe. Yes, he's 70 now. So,
but you are being ageist. That's not fair.
Yeah. Anyway, let me just go straight to your question. Rufai,
president is older than
Rufai, let me just go to your question first. Then if you have a follow-up question, then we can discuss it.
Go ahead.
Okay, somebody who does not believe in Yoruba presidency has been moving between Abeokuta and Ibadan to secure a political fortune, has been engaging Obasanjo, has been engaging the Oyo State Governor to secure a political fortune. This is an element of political confusion, because if you believe in something, you have to work on it. If you don't believe on something, you have no reason to work on it. So he has engaged at some point the Oyo State Governor, Makinde, to secure similar partnership with Obi. And then when Makinde opted out of that discussion, then Kwankwaso went to Obi. The same Obi that I've mentioned, that he has been calling him names. You understand? And he has seen Obi as a so imperial political leader that he cannot even work with in 2023. That is one. The second issue is that somebody who said Tinubu is his friend, and he ordered his political godson, the governor, to go and meet President Tinubu to discuss the issue of partnership, the issue of defection to APC, has withdrawn that support at the very late hour to also pursue another separate political movement. And then what I want to make clear here is that there are those who are working for Tinubu openly, directly, in the public space, and there are also those who can work for Tinubu behind the scene. And I believe whatever Kwankwaso is doing will favor Tinubu at the end of it, because Kwankwaso has worked for Tinubu in 2023. I am a member of the APC, and I have been the opposition spokesperson in Kano, and have known what has happened in 2023. So therefore, in 2027, at the same time, Kwankwaso, it's just that we're going to work for Tinubu in 2027 directly and openly as members of the APC. But I believe Kwankwaso is also working for Tinubu in 2027 behind the scene.
Okay, so Kwankwaso is working for Tinubu.
Yes.
Yeah. The senator is saying that this 1,000 projects is his own, that the governor's own is different. So we also want you to clarify, legislative and executive, roles and things like that between the senator. Because the senator just, sent me a message now that the governor's own is different. That this one that you are saying that the 1,000 scholarship is your own. That is not true. Answer
okay.
that.
Senator mentioned over 1,000 students he has enrolled to be given scholarship, monthly stipend, registration, and what have you. That part of his constituency project, constituency support to members, to students in Kano South. Then the governor has a 1,001 foreign and domestic scholarship for students, indigent students of Kano State across the 44 local government, not just one zone. So there are different initiatives. The one for senator is different, and the other one for the governor is for postgraduate scholarship, domestic and foreign. So I hope
they overlap.
No, they don't overlap. They are separate projects, and each one is being funded by the different entities. The senator is doing his own. The senator's one, I'm not sure whether the senator has sponsored anybody to the foreign country for any postgraduate scholarship, but he has his own where he's spent money on the student for Kano South. But for the governor's one, it's a postgraduate scholarship, master's degrees, PhDs, foreign countries and domestic.
Okay, Sanusi, yesterday, I think we reviewed, a rally by Dr. Kwankwaso. And then, of course, there was also the rally by the governor. were also a lot of people there, and a lot of people at the Kwankwaso rally too. I know it's political season, but I was suggesting yesterday that some of these people, in both places attending these political events, they look like they are the same set of people. So what level of productivity are we having this political season in Kano? Because it looks like, people just go to this rally, they go to that rally. Is there serious work still going on in that city of Kano because of the competition, political alignments and realignments? When governor calls people, they go there. When Kwankwaso calls people, they go there. When Dr. Ganduje tries to mobilize people, they will go there. So is there still work in that town?
Yeah, Kano is populated with over 22 million people, and 60% of that population is dwelled within the metropolitan area of the city. So to gather people in places like Kano is a very simple thing because of the population. And then, of course, we cannot ignore the unproductive population who are always available for such things, even though the governor has done a lot to ensure that job is created through the revival of 26 skill acquisition centers, and then the monthly women empowerment he has been given to a lot of people in the state. But Kano is blessed with the experienced politicians. If you take Kwankwaso, if you take Ganduje, if you take Senator Shekarau, if you take the governor himself, and also the deputy senate president, the balance is now, Kwankwaso is now alone. It's a lone politician with maybe 30-40% of his followership before our defection. Now, we've moved with like 70% of the Kwankwaso supporters to APC to merge with that of Ganduje that has been in existence in APC, the bloc votes of Ganduje, the bloc vote of Senator Shekarau, and also that of Senator Barau Jibrin, who is the deputy senate president. So if you look at the forces, if you mention like 10 politicians in the space of Kano, the big 10, the top 10 politicians, 7 to 8 of them are now in APC. And they have massive support and political resources that they can determine what might happen in 2027. And then Kwankwaso alone, because he has lost a lot of support base in Kano, now moving to bring Obi so that he can actually secure the support of some of the non-indigens and then the Christian votes in the state and what have you. But even at that, when you look at it, it might not be up to 25% of the total vote, because Kano is a conservative state that you cannot really take away that thinking of a typical Kano man. You understand? And then he cannot play anything with Obi, because Obi can never be accepted in places like Kano, Jigawa, and Co. So therefore, I don't see that flying. Only that the assignment he was given probably is just to scatter the opposition and ensure that some of the votes goes here and the other one goes there, so that the president.
Tinubu gave him this assignment, right?
No, I'm just. So
I want you to say here categorically, you're saying that in an Obi Kwankwaso ticket, that Kwankwaso cannot deliver Kano State. Is that what you're saying? And then you've also said that he's working with... Sorry?
Correct.
Correct what?
Yeah, Kwankwaso Obi ticket cannot fly in Kano. Kwankwaso alone under NNPP was able to secure over 1 million votes in Kano in 2023. But believe me, in 2027, with the Obi as presidential candidate and Kwankwaso as vice presidential candidate, that ticket cannot secure 1 million votes in Kano. Cannot. And time will come, we'll see.
All right. We have plenty.
No, I just wanted to, so you said there are a lot of unproductive people in Kano too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go. Yeah.
Well, the permutations will continue. The permutations will continue.
And they have a
the debates will continue. So
let me just explain.
Yes.
What they said, just 5 million
5 seconds
support, 5 million people gathered in Kwankwaso residence. I've known that place. It's not, the capacity of the place is not for more than 2,000 2,000 people. Just 2,000 people, but you say 5 million. So even with that, you cannot say yes. You cannot say this 5 million. 5 million is equivalent to a state, entire state. There are so many states with a 5 million population, so you cannot gather 5 million people at a particular destination. The biggest public space in Kano is Sani Abacha Stadium. It has the capacity of 16,000 people.
Okay. Well, all those people singing Fale Daiche, did I say it correctly? One term for Abba Yusuf.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's going to come down to the numbers, of course, on election day. So we'll see how it all works out. And of course, we thank you, Mr. Sanusi Bature, representing the Kano State Governor, to dissect the political dynamics in that state.